Alan. Okay. General discussion? I will guess there's no general discussion.
How about those Mets?
Are the Mets, are they doing any good this year? I mean,
I don't know. But did you watch the Little League World Series yesterday?
Oh, yeah.
Hawaii
I did.
was a powerhouse.
It was nice. There were some pretty good games this year.
They had back-to-back dingers in the bottom of the first, right?
They mercied
I
four.
watched the game.
They mercied 4 out of the last 6 teams they played.
Yeah, they were awesome. That's better an American, you know, a team from the United States wins. Generally, it's not. But
Yeah, because the other countries, they're pulling kids from their whole country.
right,
Over here,
Got
we're
it.
pulling kids per state, so it's not really that fair.
and
For
you're also
town.
you're pulling kids that are the legal age too.
We're pulling kids who are just from towns, not the whole
Yeah.
country.
Towns.
Right.
But that's great. You know, actually, I saw that other than California, Connecticut and a few other states like Hawaii have won the most World Series. It was like Connecticut, Hawaii, I think Massachusetts, I can't remember, Pennsylvania or Massachusetts. They all won 4 World Series in the past.
Yeah. Connecticut's had a few.
Mm.
Go Connecticut. Woo.
Right.
Everybody, has anyone read the minutes? I actually submitted minutes,
Oh, boy.
right? It
Of
was
course,
last
I
week.
read them, and I think I will move they be accepted.
Okay,
I'll second.
thanks, Mike. And on to ARPA, which I think Stuart, is it Stuart that's going to talk to us?
What am I doing?
You
Just swallowing here.
can't get it done unless your wife's there, right?
Talking about ARPA. Any new things that you would want to share?
Well, we just got to get some protocols straightened out with the work we want done. Erica kind of threw us a curveball today on our work we want to do with Carl. She goes, well, you're submitting an RFP, right? And you're doing all this, right? And I looked at Alan and he looked at me cross-eyed. So we'll get it straightened out. We called Carl and said, you just got to let us know before you spend anything, what you're spending. And he agreed. Anything over 5,000 requires an RFP.
Okay.
Formal bidding process because we're a public government. And the surveying is not over 5,000, so we're good there. And they gave Carl permission to proceed, which we were doing that anyways, but up till today, it's like, oh, you need permission to do that. So it's a little confusing on ARPA protocols, but we'll get it done.
So,
But we don't need an RFP.
Carl is
Huh?
providing, what is Carl providing?
Oversight, engineered drawings. He's going to assign the surveyor.
Yeah.
So he will have a finished product at some point.
And we're okay to do that without.
No, we're gonna have to figure out what they want. I'm not sure Erica knows what they want. And we'll certainly abide by whatever the rules are. So it's got to get straightened out in the next few weeks. But for right now, the survey is going to take another month, so we're clear on that.
Okay, so he's just providing that right now for under $5,000. We don't
Yeah.
have to put it out to bid.
No, we don't.
Okay.
But in
Okay.
terms of bidding out the engineer, I mean, we didn't do that. So I've got to, someone needs to talk to Erica about that, either Alan or you, Joe, or Ed, or somebody, me, somebody, and just find out exactly what they want.
Okay. For the next step.
Yeah, I mean, we're there.
So all Carl's doing right now is the lead up to creating a request.
We don't need a request. We've approved the survey process, so he's just gonna go ahead and do it.
Okay, following that, what do we need?
Well, I gotta figure out, how do we break out his engineering cost? And is that an RFP? You know, I gotta figure that out, and I don't think we want other engineers to bid on it. Start over from square one, so we gotta figure out how we're gonna get through this.
Did he give us a ballpark?
Sorry?
Did he give us a ballpark for his services?
Yeah, he did. In fact, it's all written down. If you give me a minute, I can go back through my notes and
10, 15?
he did break it out and he put it on his spreadsheet. And
It's definitely sort of a confusing situation though. He's the town engineer, so you would think he would just be our guy for town projects, but now all of a sudden he's not,
I don't think that has to go out to bid. I mean, there's gotta be a way for him to break it up into pieces so they're all smaller than $5,000. Survey is 4,900. The plan is 4,900, so he breaks it down so that he's never over, but he breaks it up into enough pieces.
That's a good idea.
He's the
I have
man.
engineering at 7,600.
All right, I'll email Erica.
So if that's an RFP, I don't know how we're gonna get competing bids on that, nor do we want to do that.
Yeah, I don't remember ever having an RFP for Carl.
Well, she threw that at us today and we both got a little, with that, so.
Is it because it must be because it's ARPA money and not just town money?
Maybe.
I
I'm
don't know.
guessing that.
I don't know.
All right. All right, I will email her tomorrow. Anything else on that front, Stu?
On ARPA, yeah, there's our projects going forward. They got the second tranche of money. I had to look up how to spell that word. But it's not the complete amount. So they got about a quarter of what was owed us. And that led to the nervousness of people going out and spending money on their projects that were approved. So that's what led to that.
That makes sense.
And Erica said, we don't have all the money, so you can't go out and spend all the money. And I said, well, let me tell you where we're at. This is where we're at with the survey process and with Carl. Well, you need an RFP. She just, it wasn't clearly thought out what she was saying. So I think you go back to her a day later or 2 days later and say, what do you need? In terms of other projects, there wasn't much discussed. They're not going to go forward with any new projects until the second tranche of money comes through, is what she said today. And sometimes that changes. The big controversy in town are the bonuses proposed to be paid to town workers under one ARPA proposal and the fire department workers under a second ARPA proposal. And that's turned into quite a controversy. So today, we talked about it at length again. And what the committee has voted to do is send it to the Board of Finance for a town vote. So it's out of the ARPA committee, it's going to the Board of Finance, and they will vote on the 36,000 for town employees, and I think the 17,500 for the fire department employees.
They're voting on it, but it's still ARPA money.
I think, yeah, we can come back and thumb our noses at them again, but I don't think we want to do that. I think the intent is whatever the town says, we will abide by it.
I agree.
I think she saw it was turning into a bit of a political dilemma, and in the end, she backed off and voted to send it up. which I was pleasantly surprised with.
I think it makes sense. So BOF is gonna turn it into a town meeting and the town's gonna vote on it? Or the
Yeah.
BOF's gonna vote on it?
No, it'll be a town vote.
Yep, that's smart.
I think it's the way to go. That was my opinion throughout the process.
Okay.
I think there's no chance that it passes. Just throwing that out there.
Oh, I don't know.
No chance.
I think
don't
the
know,
fire
why-
department, I think the town respects the fire department people, and I think that money has a very good chance of going through. Town employees, I really couldn't call that one. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a mixed bag,
All depends on who fills the meeting with the most people.
right? I agree. I don't have a problem with it.
Nobody in the room, nor I think on the Board of Finance, has a problem with the project. The problem was with the process. That ARPA was using money that they think should have involved the community. So that was the controversy.
I think
Is,
a lot of it had to do with people had the impression that the town employees were voting to give themselves bonuses.
Oh,
right, that's helpful. Thank you, Alan. That's definitely was voiced as the impression from the Board of Finance, is that firefighters are voting to give themselves raises and town employees are voting to give themselves raises, and the board is made up of firefighters and town employees. So there's some truth to that.
As is the town though, so if I'm a town employee and I go to vote as a townsperson, I'm voting for my raise as well.
They tried to separate certain individuals from voting, but it was convoluted and it was hard to explain to Board of Finance, or to, it's going to be even harder to explain to the community. So I think in the end, this is the right thing that happened.
All righty. What else you got?
I think that's it for ARPA. Alan, did I miss anything?
No,
All right, I did miss
You
something.
spent some money on summer camp. That went well, right?
yep.
Good.
The
Done
spending
summer
part
camp.
went well.
I'm done.
I skipped the bench. I apologize, Alan. Maybe you want to describe what's going on there.
Sure.
Huh.
Well, does everyone remember the bench that I have been talking about for months? Okay, so there's a new development which has some drama behind it. So I had come up with the agreement to make the bench and the plaque a certain way for Stephen Davis, and he gave me the money to do the job. And I was literally going to the trophy shop that day to have the plaque made, or to put the order in. And I met with a woman who was actually his ex-wife and did not know that the bench was being put in. And so she was very upset by this because she didn't know. And it was sort of an awkward situation because she wanted to be included on the plaque. And she offered me money to put herself on the plaque. But that is not part of the original agreement or job that I had with Mr. Davis. He, they I guess they're they don't really speak to each other that much, and he's doing his own thing and she's doing her own thing, but she wants to be on it, but it's not her job. So Erica just happened to be there when this whole conversation went down, and she told me to hold on doing the project, which is, I would say, is the problem here. I'm supposed to be doing this job for this gentleman, and I was told to stop because of his ex-wife, it's a tricky situation for me because I'm supposed to do the job and I was told to not do the job. And in my opinion, I don't think I don't think that the job has anything to do with Mr. Davis's ex-wife. I offered her to, we can put your own bench in another spot. That's not really what she wanted to hear. So that's where I'm at with this bench predicament.
What does the
Right.
plaque, what does the plaque say?
The plat, it says Isaac Davis. It has his basketball number. It has, a couple sentences. I'm not sure what the sentences are. And then it's going to have his picture on it as well.
And this fellow died?
Yes.
And
That's
does it
the bench
mention
we're
the
putting in
other-
at River Road.
the father's name? Is the father's name on there listed?
It's yes. So it says something along the lines of from,
Donated by,
dad, brother, this person, that person, donated by.
Eddie, what do you think? You're the legal expert.
Well, I mean,
they're legally separated, divorced.
Right.
yeah, no, I mean, it has nothing, she has no right to insist that she gets put on it. I guess the question that I'm looking at is, does Alan have to, who is he beholden to? Is it us or is it the selectman? Does he take direction from the first selectman, or I guess he may, because I guess his attention is through them. I don't know.
I think we have a discussion and Alan brings it to Erica. Erica is your boss at the end of the day. But I agree with what Mike just said. Mr. Davis gave the money to Alan, made the request, and then she kind of came in, the ex Mr. Davis, Mrs. Davis, in the 11th hour and said, wait, I need to be on this plaque.
Yeah, I
So
don't think she has any right to be on it. I mean, this is something that she had nothing to do with.
No, I fully agree she has no right.
Yeah.
It's an emotional based kind of thing, right?
Just a matter of whether we want to step on the select woman's toes, that's all. I just doing it anyway, even though she
Yeah,
said.
I mean, if Erica says don't, what's the solution here, Erica? I mean, you tell us to hold off. Okay, what we're holding off for what? Are you gonna call up and the Mr. and the ex-Mrs. or whatever and resolve this? Or is this just being held in abeyance until someone forever? So we want to get a decision on this thing.
Yeah,
So I don't know what her plan is.
she'd have to get them in the room and have them argue it out and make a decision on which way they want to go.
Well, they're not going to agree on anything. They
Right,
didn't agree on Barry. They're not going to agree on this. So I think, we need to ask why. What are we waiting for here? I mean, this is what was if she wants to, she can make her own donation.
That was
We can't,
Alan's thought. That's what Alan thought.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Alan's handling it perfectly. I don't, but for Eric to say hold off with no other plan, it's not right.
So this is one of those situations where I wanted to bring it to you guys, and whatever you think, whichever direction we should go, I think an email or a call from you guys would be helpful, because I need some support, because I don't really have much leverage in the situation, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So look, if I email Erica about Carl, I will also add something about Isaac Davis and his mom and dad. But what are we in agreement with here? My point of view is Mr. Davis wanted to do this. He gave Alan money. He made a request. I think we honor that request. And if Mrs. Davis wants to do something, she can do something on her own. But like you said, Ed, they're divorced. So this is beyond the divorce. This is two separate entities now. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right. All right, I'll email Erica.
Maybe Erica wants to get them back together.
I think part of the problem is she does know them, right, Alan?
Yes, based on what I saw that day and the conversation that I had with Mr. Davis afterwards, it's clear that she knows both individuals and is probably friendly with both of them as well. So,
But it's not our job to bring them together to make a plaque. Our job is to honor Mr. Davis's request. And then if she wants to make a request, she can make a request.
and
Okay.
I did bring this entire situation to Mr. Davis as well to let him know. I wanted to be upfront with him, and he said he totally understands why I came to him, and he was appreciative of it. And he said, basically in his words was, as long as it doesn't alter the agreement that you and I had, we have no problem. So it's clear that he wants to continue the job as it was initially proposed.
Right, without Mrs. Davis's name on it.
Yes.
Okay, good, I guess.
Anything else to add to that?
Don't think so.
I'll email Erica tomorrow and have a candid conversation of some sort. We can't force him to put her name on the plaque, so I think, we're gonna just try and get her to agree that you go forward with what you were doing. And if Mrs. Davis wants to put a bench up at Town Office Building Park, she can do that.
Where does the plaque go, Al?
Under the bench.
Under it.
In the cement.
Oh, in the cement. Okay.
What's the cost, Al?
So the bench is a little over 700. Because it's a bigger bench than normal.
Yep.
And the plaque is looking to be around $1,000.
Woo!
Good,
And then
huh?
the rest, the remainder would be like to buy the concrete bags for Public Works to put it down,
It's a $2,000 install by the time you're done.
How big's the
You want-
plaque gonna be?
A 12 by 8. So it's bigger than most of the plaques that are in town. The only one that's bigger is the Kevin Laguerre baseball one, because it's the size of an actual baseball home plate. So
Do we care? Do
I
we
think,
care that my plaque's bigger than your plaque, Joe, or
well,
Ed's
Anyone that tells you
ex-wife's
size-
plaque is bigger than Ed's plaque,
anybody that tells you size doesn't matter is already working on a problem. So
My first 3 girlfriends said that.
I don't think we have it has to be a this size kind of plaque. I'm okay with it.
That's fine. I just wanted to bring it up
It
because it gets crazy.
already is crazy. It's,
Yeah.
The bench is bigger, the plaque is bigger.
Right. Yeah, right, Mike. That's perfect.
that was the thinking behind it, I believe, when I suggested
yeah.
it to him. And I think I was thinking, well, it doesn't make sense to have a huge bench and then this little baby plaque underneath it.
How big is the bench? Double wide?
Less than double wide. I'm not sure. It's maybe 10 feet, I think.
Where are you gonna put it?
That's good.
The other side of the basketball court at River Road.
Half court line.
Yeah.
That's nice. And that'll get a lot of use.
Oh, yeah. We need
Right?
benches. We need benches. It's a free bench. Good deal.
Nothing's free, Stu.
Got to put Joe's name on the plaque.
No, you don't have to. But nothing's free.
I
All
heard
right,
that.
are we good?
Yep.
I'll send out an email on both parts, Carl
Thank you.
and the bench. All right, director's report.
Not much here either. Basically 2 things. Just was gonna tell you that summer camp's over. A lot of people were very pleased with it. It was free, so of course they're gonna be pleased with it.
That's a great day.
But now that it was over, all last week we got to clean up summer camp. which was, it seems to be endless, that, doing that too. We got to get all of our stuff out. We bought a lot of stuff as well for the program. So we had to get it all out, find a place to store it. Lots of bins of crafts and everything just sitting around. So I got to put that away. Paperwork. We got to return all of the security deposits that we collected. So we're trying to finish that up this week. So it's like another week of summer camp.
Alan, thank you for running that though. It's really, I know I was up at the town hall and I just came down to say hello. And the people in the finance department says you were out working your butt off at that camp like every day.
Yeah,
So,
that's where I was.
and they had some
every
nice
day.
things to say about you too. I want you to know they also said some nice things about you. So, I just thought I'd pass that along to you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
What was the other? Oh, shoot. Okay, I remember the other thing now. So, Wham. Wham wants to use the River Road soccer field, and I know the only experience that I've had with renting out that field is NEU. They pay and they rent it out. So Wham wants to use the field, and I said, hey, no problem, just fill out the form and pay. So the president of Wham, who I've met before because we had to work together to open the locks of the shed at Hall School, he was okay to pay, but he got a bunch of pushback from his soccer board, and they said it should be free for us. It should be free. We have an agreement with Willington and blah, 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 blah. So he wanted me to check in about this. So I did figure out that Wham is a nonprofit. I do not know if they've used the field before, if they paid for it before, if they used it. So basically, what I need to know how to proceed. If anyone remembers, does Wham get to use it for free or should they pay for it? And I think that they collect money for kids to play for their group, so I think I almost feel like if you're taking in money, you should pay to use the field. That's kind of how I feel about it, but just wanted to throw it out and see what we're gonna do about this.
Does NEU not want the whole time slot?
NEU only uses the field 3 days a week,
So Wham wants it the other two?
at least. They also mentioned the weekend, so they might want to use it on the weekend as well.
But they're not competing with NEU for spots.
No, not on the same days. So
Can you tell me who Wham is, Al?
it stands for Wellington, Ashford. No, yeah, Wellington, Ashford, Mansfield.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it's basically an organization where kids from all three towns go to. It's like a soccer club, and they get training, and then they have practices and games.
Do you know any other rec directors that they have used soccer fields from?
No, well,
They
I
must
can
be
talk to
playing
Sherry in Ashford to see what they do over there.
It would just be nice to find out if someone else is charging them for field time. I don't see why they wouldn't.
Yeah,
Does
I
the
don't
fact that
remember,
they're nonprofit matter?
No,
Okay.
I don't remember any soccer people not paying to use the field.
Bill Billyak could be the sounding board for this.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
I think baseball
So
is the only guys that use the field for free.
Well, that's interesting that you bring that up because, in this example, Wham is going to point to baseball probably and say, well, they don't pay. But then NEU is probably sitting there going, how come we got to pay to use the field, but they don't?
Right.
So we got both scenarios here. So we got to figure out how to proceed.
I think partly Little League, generally, when it was just the town of Willington, always took care of the maintenance of the field. We're paying to take care of the maintenance of the soccer field. It's a bigger nut too, and it's a bigger space, etc. So if they're
I
gonna,
just
they wanna
texted
rent
him
it-
to ask the question.
what's that?
Sorry. I just
What's that?
texted him to ask. I apologize for interrupting.
He said he might be here by 8 o'clock or so.
I think he said 7:50,
Okay.
but we might be done before then though.
Oh, yeah, Jesus. All right.
Do you have, let me ask this. Do you have any records, Alan, do we have records of like all money coming in over the last couple of years or anything to show whether Wham paid us anything?
So I don't have access to the records before I started, if
Okay.
that makes sense to you. So the accounting software that we use, like I can click on a line item and then it will tell me like if money came in or we sent money out, whatever it is. Well, I can't look at it before the year that I started because that's all I have access to look at. So I'm not sure.
Um,
Billy,
Okay.
Billy might know.
He would. I think Wham has used the field, no? I thought Bill used to use our field. Did they use a different field?
Yeah, but isn't he NEU?
He is now, but I thought he was Wham.
He might have been. We'll ask him.
I think asking the lady in Ashford if they use her fields and if they get charged to use them is a good start.
Well, there's another aspect to this too, I think. There's also a difference between using our field and using a school field. You know, if they want to, they can call up Brenda and reserve the Hall School field or the Center School field or whatever it is, and that's free to them. You know, so that's where they probably play, I'm guessing. Like I don't think there's a park in Ashford that has a soccer field, you know.
Mhm. That makes sense. But again, as the rec department, we take care of those fields, don't we? So would they come to you or would they come to the school? I guess they'd come to the school.
Yeah. Well, I didn't even think about that because I think we're the only town that takes care of the schools fields too. So I don't know.
Yeah. I don't see why they shouldn't pay. It's not that much money. It's, what is it, $35 per night?
Yeah. I think it's $30, I believe, for a 2-hour block.
And they're charging kids to come to the field to play.
Yeah.
I know Little League when
I
they played
agree.
had to pay as well, but what are you saying, Ed?
I agree they should pay something.
They should pay
Especially
what
it's
any
not
youth
that
pays.
expensive. Yeah. Yeah.
And what did they say to you, Alan? Well, there's kids on here that are Wellington kids, but NEU probably has Wellington kids too.
Yeah. You know, one of the guys, like I said, I don't know any of these guys on the email. I got attached onto an email with a bunch of people who I don't know. And they were saying, well, I don't think we should pay because back in the day we had a tri-town agreement and blah, 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 blah. And some other guy said, we've never paid to use a field. And, you know, I don't know. It's a bunch of, you know, well, it used to be this way or, you know, long
Look.
time ago stuff.
I think you were right in saying, here's the form, fill it out, and if you want to use the field, this is what it costs. And it doesn't matter what happened in the past. This is how we're handling it now, right?
This is what it is now because we have costs associated with maintaining the field properly.
Right, big costs.
Yeah. Landscaping bills are no joke.
Yeah. I'm all for charging them the standard fee.
So that's how you want me to do it, or should we wait till hear what Bill says?
We can wait out Bill and make a decision. What do you guys think? I think pay, they're renting the field. They should pay.
Yeah,
It should be equitable. Whatever we're charging somebody else, we shouldn't charge anymore. You know, it's just going to turn into a pissy fit.
Exactly.
We don't want that.
So do all of us agree that we should have
Yeah.
them pay? Okay.
Yeah.
All Well, we're that far, Alan.
It's a nice field, very nice field.
So, okay, so what happens if Bill says, no, we've never paid before?
I think we tell them the new rule is everybody in the that uses the soccer field for events and or training or whatever you want to call what William's doing, there has to be a fee for a 2-hour usage of $30 or whatever.
Wear and tear.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, we spend a lot of money on upkeep, so.
Sure.
Perfect. That's all I needed to know.
Okay.
We're a
We're good with
nonprofit
that.
too,
I'll
you know?
send out the emails tomorrow and let them know that this is the policy, even if it was different before.
Yeah, because we're paying to take care of the field. It's part of our budget, so we need to
And
get that back.
I'm kind of like this, but I look at the situation and I go, what does Wham give us? Do they
Nothing.
do anything for us? I don't know. That's how I look at it.
I don't think they do.
Well, there's
It's not like they
Wellington
let us
kids
use a
there, right?
field somewhere else or anything.
But they're Wellington
they're
kids.
running-
in there.
Go ahead, Stu.
That's what, there are kids, so some of them are.
Um,
Listen, all these organizations are running recreational, programs. It helps the kids get them up and out, but it doesn't mean they do it for free. I mean, they are doing something good for the town that we would, we don't have to do. Let's put it that way. And but I think they should pay. They charge the participants, and it costs us a lot of money to keep that field going on all the things we do, everything.
How
There's
about
so
how
much.
about the porta potty? Just you're adding another
Yeah.
40 people a night for 3 nights?
Yeah.
That's porta potty usage is worth $30 a night.
Yeah.
And we pay for that, not the town, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Pay for it.
Yeah.
I think it's validated. And they don't just have 10 kids. They come in a flurry, don't they? Like when NEU is out there, how many people are on that field at once?
Admit. A lot. That's
A lot.
when I've driven by. It looks like there's 20
I've-
kids out there.
I've seen
there's-
what looks like way more than 20 kids
Yeah.
and parents.
Bill's
Yeah.
on the line. He's coming on. He says, no, they don't pay.
Uh-oh.
But let's see what he has to say.
But I don't think he's Wham anymore.
No. Bill, you there?
Bill, we need you.
Well, he did text me, no, they don't pay, but either way, I still think it's fair that they should pay, but
If they don't pay, NEU is going to find out and say, well, then we're not going to pay. And the reality is they haven't been renting the field, so it's not like you're going to lose revenue. They'll just end up going somewhere else or go to Hall School. Oh,
I agree.
he can't connect his iPhone to audio. Bill, you got to go find a
All right.
10-year-old girl to help you with your iPhone.
Oh.
It says connecting to audio at the bottom.
But it did not connect. Well, even if Bill disagrees about paying, I think the majority says Wham should pay.
Okay. We'll move
So we're
on.
charging both groups.
Correct.
And
Right.
I know just one final point
Sure.
about it. It's not like they are a part of the town government either. Like when the PTA wants to use the pavilion, we say, well, I think PTA is not part of the town government either.
But they're kind of a town entity. So if they want to use the concession stand, they use it. Right? There he is. Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself, William.
Oh.
Can't hear you.
Still muted.
There. Oh,
there he is,
he's got a bad signal.
almost.
River Road Sky.
Okay, now we can hear you.
All right, sorry guys. Sorry.
There you go.
Are you still part of Wham?
Yeah, informally. Yeah, Wham doesn't get charged. None of the Ashfield, Mansfield, they all get to use the fields for free. It's always been like that.
Has Wham used our fields before?
You know, yes, a long time ago, pre-COVID. Yep.
I think we're gonna suggest that they pay.
Yeah, but Joe, it's because it's town. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
They're a town.
We're not Ashford or Mansfield.
No, I know, but we don't charge. We've never charged in 30 years. A town team. These guys are, non-profit. It's not like this isn't like Premier. It's town, club.
Are they charging kids to come to the practices?
No. Mansfield, it's all free for them. Ashford, it's free. Yep. No, we've never charged.
So it's free for any kid that wants to do it?
If they're on Wham United Soccer. If they have a team.
So they have to pay to be part of Wham then?
Yeah, they pay a fee for their jerseys, and then they pay like I think a $60 membership fee, and that covers all the insurances and stuff. They don't make much money. The three clubs, Willington, Ashford, Mansfield, they don't make much money off the kids. It all goes back to the kids,
Well, what about NEU? We're charging NEU?
Yeah, but NEU, I mean, those parents are paying, $2,000 a year, and they're they're not for profit, but even Mansfield charges NEU to be over there.
Where else does Wham play? Where are they playing now?
Well, Willington has been really struggling getting players, so much of Lions Field is taken up by Wham because most of the players are from Mansfield. But this year, with the drought going on, Mansfield has not opened their fields yet. So that's why Wham is scrambling to hit some Willington fields.
They need us now.
Now they need us. Yeah,
They're
exactly.
asking to use the field 2 nights a week and then on the weekends. So it's going to be a lot of wear and tear on our field.
No, I know. And Lions shut down too. I mean, we can always say that the field's already being used because NEU already booked the fields. But normally what happens is Wham and NEU get together at the beginning of the year, and Wham gets first usage of the field and for reffing in games because they're town. We support the town. And then Premier comes in and takes up all the other space, but they pay for it. NEU does. But honestly, I mean, I've been here 25 years and Wham has never paid for rental, nor at Mansfield, nor at Ashford. They even used to use Hall School too, back in the day.
Well, it just seems to me that we should charge something because the field's getting beat up. And if they're not playing how bad is our field right now, Alan? Maybe
it came back a little bit because of that rain, but it's all rutted up,
So maybe we don't want that much. They're coming here because the other fields don't want them there because they're destroying the fields or the fields aren't playable. I
agree with you there. Totally. Yeah. Oh yeah. I agree.
Maybe we don't want that traffic on the field.
I'm just debating the fee for them. That's what I'm debating.
Well, Bill, the fee is like $30 per night, I think, a day or whatever.
Yeah, whatever it is. Yep.
To us, that's porta potties, maintenance. It's a lot going on, and it's 40 kids running around on that field.
Yeah.
I hate to sound cheap, but.
Well, you think of Mansfield, they probably have 250 kids running around on their fields, and they don't charge them. It's just that this year we're in the drought, right? So now everybody doesn't want their fields to be used until we get more water. I mean, they're going to eventually open up. It's just that they're kind of delaying it now that now that we're getting the rain, they'll probably open up next week. It may be a moot point. It may just go away because there's not many people who are going to want, Mansfield kids are not going to want to come all the way to Willington to play soccer.
Okay, so it sounds like the reason they want our field is because they don't have any other fields to play on right now.
Correct. To get started. Correct. That's correct.
So I don't, you know, if our field's getting used 3 nights a week right now, maybe that's enough usage on that soccer field until
Yeah.
it rains again.
No, I agree with you on that one. I'm just being like in the future, if under normal conditions, normal years, if Wham asked to use River Road, we don't charge for that. And we haven't done that in I'm telling you, never, because it's town supporting the town.
Right, but if Wham comes to play, it's kids from Ashford and Mansfield as well as Wellington, and
Yeah,
that could be
usually what happens if there's a Wellington coach, of course, the Wellington coach is going to want to practice in Wellington. Lately, there has not been many Wellington coaches. So most are Mansfield coaches, and they all go out there. So the Wellington kids travel to Mansfield to play.
and their season starts right now. This is the week. it
It's
starts.
next week. Yeah, starts in a couple. Wham starts like in a week and a half or something like that. Yeah. Premier's already started up. Yep.
Gentlemen, I think certainly we should lay off that field for a few weeks,
Mm-hmm.
right?
What does Hall School look like?
Ooh, I mean, from the road, it looks terrible, but that's an option too. But that's a different option because they have to go through the superintendent's office. That insurance goes through them over there at Hall School, the secretary Nicole. So it's two separate things. If they want to use River Road, they have to go through Allen.
I think if that field gets used 5 days a week and in the weekend right now, it's going to be a dust bowl in 2 weeks.
Yeah. No,
So I
I
think-
agree.
I think Alan, tell Wham right now that we think the field's being overused.
That's perfect. I mean, they understand that because Lions just did it.
Right. That's why they're coming here, because there's
Yep.
nowhere else to go.
Right.
Yeah, maybe suggest they try Hall School.
Yep, they could do that if they allow them. Yep, the superintendent allows it.
So we made a deal with NEU to use the field. We can't rescind because they're paying to use it. But we
Yeah.
don't want any more use on that field until we get some real rain.
Yeah. And I used to love Hall School because it was closer to Mansfield for those kids and Ashford's especially,
Hmm.
I actually preferred Hall over River Road.
Oh, all right. Where do
Yep.
they play at Hall? That lower field?
That lower field, yep. Yep, small sided games. Yep.
Alan, is that a good enough answer for right now?
I mean, is there a time limit on how long we don't want them to play there?
Say
Like
to the end of
3 weeks?
September?
And it's
So Lions opens up.
Yeah, I think it's going to go away as soon as Lions opens up. I think there's just scrambling now, like I said, to face just to get the kids, getting them out there to practice.
Does Hall School have a soccer team that uses that field?
Yeah, in the fall they use the upper field.
Upper, but the lower field could be Wham.
Yes, I
Yeah,
think
they've reserved that before.
that looks like it stays wet down there anyhow, so maybe it's in better shape.
Yeah, it's next to the river down there.
So
Yeah.
I just want to know what to tell these guys,
Yeah.
Well, if we're gonna go that it's free for Wham to use the field. However,
At this time,
at this time we aren't accepting any more field rentals due to field overusage, something like that.
Yeah, I think 3 days a week
Mhm.
is plenty.
I agree with that because everybody's suffering right now. I agree.
Um,
The we're suffering at the high school level. Farrell Field's a mess. We're trying to limit that. They're trying to use the turf as much as possible
All right.
right now. Even those fields suck. Oh, over at Mansfield, all the fields are bad. Every town must be getting hit hard unless they have a irrigation system or a turf. Yeah.
So we for sure have never charged Wham, but Wham never played much in our fields because they let.
Yeah, back in the
Fine.
day, Wham was more popular. Wham playing on our fields, but lately, over the past, I'd say 5 to 7 years, not as much. And that's why you haven't heard.
Yep. Well, according to this discussion, then we don't charge Wham, but I don't think we want them.
Alan doesn't know
You're breaking up, Billy.
R2, D2.
Yes.
Just go.
William, are you still there?
Yeah, I just pinged out there. I'm driving home now, so I can hear you now. I'm sorry, guys.
Okay,
Must
no,
have hit a dead
that's okay.
spot or something.
That's okay.
Yep.
All right, so Wham's never paid. They don't pay in other towns.
Nope,
But-
they do not.
So I guess we'd have to honor that, but right now we don't want any more field use.
Right, I agree. I agree with you guys on
Till the end of
that, because
September?
It's a mess.
Yeah, at least till the end of September, and then at that point, to be determined.
Yeah,
Yes.
I agree with that, guys.
Reassess.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
So tell them right now, we're just not taking on any other field usage besides the people that are paying to use 3 days a week.
Just trying to limit the usage to what we already have.
Yep.
assigned.
Because they're paying, and then at the end of September, we're gonna reevaluate. So have them
Mhm.
call back the last day of September.
And then, and then say they can use, they can go through Hall and ask them, but they make that decision. Hall does, in the superintendent's office.
Okay.
At least it gives them an option to go there if they can do it.
Wham does not pay, but that feels a mess. We will say no now. And reevaluate end of the month, end of September. So that's what I think you tell them, Alan. We get it. They don't pay. They're kind of a town entity, but right now we don't want anyone on the field except for the people that are using it. And at the end of
Yeah.
September, we'll reevaluate it.
All right.
All right, everybody else?
Yeah, I
Agree.
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 You let Billiak into the conversation, he screws everything up.
Yeah.
Take it out of his pet.
It's somebody with a memory.
Yeah, but you don't know how good a memory it is.
Oh,
It'd all be BS.
funny.
yeah. Yeah.
All right,
Whoa.
what else we got for director's report?
That was it.
All
How do you
right.
do with Paul's Pond
How'd I do it, Halls Pond?
with money wise?
Oh, I haven't calculated it yet, but it's definitely gonna be a loss.
Oh, we did charge. What were your open hours?
Noon to 6 p.m. every day.
Oh,
7
and
days.
Saturday and Sunday?
And it used to be open more, but I cut back the hours to try and save some costs there. And I still felt like it was fair to leave it open till 6, so that if people get out from work late, they can still go there if they'd like. But we had to have it open for noon because that's when the summer camp kids would go over there and swim,
Sure.
which is really, I think, the special thing about the Willington summer camp that other camps don't have, is they get to go swimming every day, and that's really what the kids look forward to every day.
Exactly.
The hot summer.
So at least the pond did get some usage.
They got a lot of use,
All right.
but it didn't make a lot of money, that's for sure.
Yeah, but summer camp didn't really make money either because it was free, but you were compensated through ARPA, right?
Yep.
All right. How did that work? At a break even?
So they gave us $21,000
Uh-huh.
to cover all the costs for this year. So that's how much money we had to spend, and they just paid it for us basically. And most of the costs are staffing.
Sure.
We don't pay to use the school. We don't pay to use Hall's Pond. So that's pretty much the entirety of the costs. I mean, we spent a good amount of money on like new sustainable activities, like we bought a basketball game and a special foosball table and sort of stuff like that that'll last year after year, so we can use it again and again.
Slingshots.
Slingshots. Not slingshots.
Any incidents at the pond?
So there was, right when the pond opened, like the day after it opened, somebody took a bunch of plates, like glass plates, and just smashed them all over the driveway, by the fence. So like it wasn't like in the Halls Pond area, it was where you get in by the gate. I should say the gate. Then the following day, I had the lifeguard call me and say, somebody stole all the nuts and bolts that held the ladder onto the dock. So, okay, we'll go buy nuts and bolts. And ever since then, there was no vandalism really. Oh, there was one more thing. One of the lifeguards found a needle in the beach. So she packed it up. I actually brought it to the state police and asked them to patrol the area if they could at night. So I guess one of the lifeguards told me that the area of housing in back of the pond, there's like, some like drug activity and stuff. So they go to the beach at night, and unfortunately they do drugs there. So, but that was it. That was those three things. And
Alan, you know what?
Yeah.
Can I say something?
Sure.
At least they're doing recreational drugs. I mean, we are Parks and Recreation, so it's not all bad.
Shame on
Wow.
you, Ed. Shame on
Wow,
you.
Eddie.
Shame on you.
I'll go back and mute myself again.
This is being taped.
Yes, it is.
We'll cut that part out somehow.
Alan, you had an incident with a couple of kids. Did that turn out all right, or did you throw them out of summer camp?
I mean, there were quite a few incidents, so I'm not sure which one you're talking about, but I ended up kicking out 3 or 4 kids out of camp. It all kind of blends together, honestly. So
No repercussions from their parents?
no, I mean, no, for the most part. A few of the parents were fine. It's almost like they expected it.
I was just gonna say that, but
And
didn't want
And
to.
then one of the parents, that was not the case. It was, well, it wasn't our fault, but I'll leave it there.
Yeah, it never is.
It's in terms of stuff at the pond, like nothing really happened. One of the CITs, actually, he ended up like getting sick a couple times because he said, he got pushed under the water and then he drank the water and then he was throwing up. So, I mean, that's pretty much the extent of the issues that we had at Halls Pond. But, there was so many people in the water,
Yeah.
but I mean, I'll say this, the lifeguards were great. They were absolutely great. I trusted them completely. I kind of let them run the show over there, and they were good. They handled it. They really only came to me like when they had, like they needed bee spray or something, so that was great. And Bill, did you know I hired your son? Did you know?
Oh my, what are you crazy or what?
No, he was great too. He was good. And he bailed us out because he had asked me, I don't know, like week 2 of camp, if there were any openings. And I said, I hired the people for this months ago, but then one counselor went on vacation and then another one got sick and then something happened to another one. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, we're screwed. We got 50 kids and we only got 4 counselors, and then the light bulb went off and I remember. So that worked out real well.
That's good.
That is good.
And he was great with the kids. One of the last days of camp, actually, he was just kind of letting the kids like throw pond muck at him. And he looked like a monster walking around covered in the stuff. The kids loved it. Even the kids that, like the little girls that are all normally cute and don't do anything wrong, they were just like, just throwing it out.
That's great.
So, yeah.
I raised a
Obviously,
good Polish boy.
I was gonna say his mother did a good job with him.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else for director's report?
No, that's it.
Do we have any old business? Do we have any new business? Does anyone want to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
Who was that? Eddie?
Eddie.
Maybe.
I'll
Yeah.
second.
Okay. All right, guys. Thanks for the participation. Eddie, Billy, thanks for helping us out on Wham.
Yeah.
Anytime, brothers, anytime.
Oh, you're the best guy around. All right, gentlemen, take care.
Guys, have a
Good
good day.
night.
Au revoir.